Hello, anyone. My name is Chris Wood, and the reason I'm on here is because 6.5 years ago, I found out about some human trafficking that was taking place in Napanee, Ontario, that and some human or homeless exploitation for monetary gain and possible money laundering that was taking place out of a mission. I started to talk about it as a result back in August of 2019 by ex-OPP of a white in Center Street at the stoplights. He waved at me. I waved back. When I waved back, they pulled up to the stoplight. When I waved back, a black truck pulled up beside him. They pointed something. They shot it, and it went into my right ear. I started having problems wondering what the fuck was going on and what I was hit with. I started having problems. I was getting burning, and whatever it was, it started to move. I go to the hospital November of that year for a CAT scan, and one of the people that are involved with crimes against me was at the hospital stating that she was there for my benefit. She was there for anxiety and all of this other bullshit. 100% lie. I had no association with her in any way, shape, or form. I get my CAT scan done. I wanted to see picture results. I was told I am not going to see the picture results, that I would not understand them, and that I needed medication. Wondering what the fuck that was based on or whatever. Come to find out that the woman that was from mental health that was talking at the hospital is actually the doctor's girlfriend. She was there casting her bullshit lies against me. Not satisfied with what had happened, I went to Kingston General Hospital to try to get help. They conveniently got a phone call stating that I was a suicidal self-harmer. Not true in any way, shape, or form. Never have been, never will be. I am 100% about life. I was there to try to get help to find out what the fuck was going on with me. But because I had long hair and I have tattoos, and whoever the call came from, it was automatically believed. So I was not taken serious about what was happening to me, and I was prevented from getting help and proof. I then was still not satisfied. I had to actually go to Belleville General Hospital. I go to Belleville General Hospital. There was a French guy that was working. He walks in. The first words out of his mouth is, "I seen your file. What do you expect me to do for you? You need to leave." He pretty much kicked me out without any kind of fucking anything whatsoever. And the reason that I was getting discriminated against is because after the woman from mental health that I had no association with there, she was casting her lies. She got a medical file falsified against me. This is why every time I would go to the hospital, I was being treated like shit. I was not being treated. I was being called names and all of this other garbage. Lies about me about having long criminal record and history, not true in any way, shape, or form. No criminal record or history in any way, shape, or form. Lies about lies about psychological record and history, not true. I went to Kingston General Hospital for the second time to try to get help again, and they conveniently got another phone call stating that I was on drugs. I do not do drugs. I am against them. I have not done drugs. I used to. I'm not perfect. I used to do a lot of bad drugs, but not since 2013 when I overdosed in Kingston, Ontario from what is called Dilaudid, which is basically synthetic heroin. And I am glad it happened because that was my wake up call. And I had one slip up in 2018. and that was the first and only time. I do not even drink alcohol, but because of, once again, that lie that was put against me, whoever it come from, that phone call, once again, I was not taken serious. Once again, I was prevented from help. I had to then start going to Napanee, Lennox and Addington County General Hospital. I was then being treated like shit. I was being name called, or I just wasn't being treated. And a lot of the time, I had to get up and actually walk out because of the way I was being treated. And it was being made to look like it was me refusing help, like I was there to cause shit. Not the case in any way, shape, or form. I had no reason to go to the fucking hospital to cause shit. I was there to try to get help. And every time I would try, I was being treated like garbage, even being rushed to the hospital with possible strokes and not being treated at all, having to fucking basically crawl off the stretcher out of the hospital and into taxi cabs. I have not been able to get any kind of medical help in any way, shape, or form. My skull has been seriously deformed in many serious different ways. It's been flattened, it's been rounded out, it's been widened, it's been shortened, it's been elongated. It even looks like it's been cut out, and I have pictures to prove it. No surgeries either. This all started to happen to me after I was shot. I had visits from an OPP cop, Spencer Mills, show up at my place, basically letting me know that if I did not stop talking about what was taking place out of the mission, there would be serious consequences. He was 100% right. After that happened, a guy showed up on the scene and he was constantly stalking. Every time I would walk out my door, he was always right there 100% of the time. I would go downtown. He was always right there. I would be sitting outside. He was always right there going by my house, sometimes 15, 20 times a day or more. Come to find out that he is an escaped harbored inmate, and I had his prisoner tracking put into me. This is what I was shot with. And he is a wanted harbored inmate sex offender. He is a sex slave trafficker. He used to stalk children daily for the OPP chief or commander for sex slavery. But he was stalking me every time I would fucking go out. And I got tired of it. I tried going to the police. I had to file charges. I got surrounded, hands on guns. I was stalked. I was kidnapped, had my blood and piss forced from me. 24 hours after asking for help with what has taken place with me, May 27, 2021, through a Shelley Hafner and false pretenses of incompetency. And that's when they got my blood and piss under threats and duress. And then when they found out what they had done to me 24 hours after, they turned around and they fucked off and left. And it was done through a Judge Chappelle in Kingston, Ontario, and I was in Napanee. Me filing OIPRDs for criminal charges, me filing Lacgh for criminal charges against police who are criminally involved, who are human trafficking, sex slavery traffickers, guilty of torture crimes, guilty of having my 2 dogs killed, my mother stalked and murdered through the one known as Bill Woldridge, the one that showed up and was stalking me. He was also stalking my mother. And the reason was because he was told that he and I were switched at birth, and he is highly psychotic and delusional and actually believed the garbage bullshit. He was stalking my mother, calling my mother mom. He thinks me and him were switched at birth, and he also thinks that he is my dad. He is very fucking nuts. He, an alleged Constable, Ontario Provincial Police Constable Detective Blair Frederick Hardy Kane. He is a meth trafficker. He is an obsessed homosexual. He is guilty of identity thefts and frauds, welfare, disability, pension thefts and frauds. insurance frauds, rapes, meth trafficking, and multiple homicides. And I'm soon going to show his picture. These are accomplices, co-offenders to OPP in their human trafficking, their sex trade, slavery trafficking. They are all registered sex offenders, drug traffickers with and for OPP, drug cop. There is a guy named Bert Hustler. There is a guy named Robert Berry. There is a guy named Brandon Berry. There is a guy named Jason Van Alstyne. There is a guy named Tyler Lake. There is a guy named Raymond LeBlanc. There is a guy named Harry Hartwick. There is a guy named Dale Hartwick. And there was a guy named Tony Anthony Axel Rose Hearns. They are co-offenders and accomplices with and for Lennox and Addington, Ontario Provincial Police. Once again, the ex-chief or commander that had me shot, the one that heads the sex slavery in 2019. Staff Sergeants years 2019, 2021, kidnapping and sodomy sex assault. Shannon Cork, Robert Lucas, Dave Weiss, Constable Ward. Stacy, a mental health worker, once again, that showed up at my CAT scan appointment stating lies against me. Was Napanee Daily Tea Company, now Kingston AMHS, and she still has to answer for that. And then there's Shelley Huffner. At first, she was giving the name Huffington, and that's what I was calling her for a long time. Come to find out, the day of my kidnapping, it's actually Huffner or Hafner. That very same day, she actually tried to label me as being 60 fucking years old. The doctors, once again, that are criminally negligent and involved in co-committing with criminal negligence and intent to commit and cover up, conspired with OPP in an attempt to try to have me charged and give me a record, in an attempt to try to deflect their crimes against me. The second time it happened was I went to the hospital. The very same day, I went to get private prosecution to get charges done on everybody involved, including the Justice of the Peace who was involved. I also forgot to mention her. I went to get private prosecution the very same day I went to get it done. I got the papers and everything. I go to the hospital. I leave the hospital. Boom. I was surrounded by OPP cops and I was arrested. They said they had a warrant out for my arrest. I was then falsely charged and arrested from the Justice of the Peace, who actually is guilty of making threats, intimidations, and accusations against me, stating I was high on marijuana and hallucinating being sodomized. I was molested as a kid. I sure the fuck was not hallucinating being sodomized and raped. And to this day, I still have problems, and I don't want to talk about that no more. But I still have fucking problems from it. I have been through full physical identity theft, full lung and kidney damage done to me, body mutilations. When I eat, my food goes to the right side of my body, not my stomach. I have piss and shit that go through my body. It goes through my head. It goes through my face. I have a tube that comes now wherever it comes from. I've not had any surgeries, but it goes from my groin to my right nipple up to my throat, where it's kind of starting to stick out right there, but it will bulge right out, and I'm going to show it in a second. It will bulge out, and then it goes from there up to the back of my neck, up to the back of my head, to a spot on the back of my head, which I have actually had since I was shot, and it has not healed in almost 6 years. And I have piss and shit going through me. I have feces going through me, and I always have a thick liquid that goes through me as well. And when that starts to happen, my head will swell up. I have not had any brain stimulation in any way, shape, or form in the last 4 fucking years from being injured and tortured, full skull splitting, full brain splitting, being medically blacklisted, treatment refusals, discrimination, lies, time buying cover ups, false arrest to protect everybody involved for the organized trafficking, sex slavery, and other crimes taking place in Napanee. And because of me speaking about it, I became a target. That is the only crime I committed. They are very seriously dangerous, and as a result, these pieces of shit now are guilty of full physical fucking identity theft on me and one of the lowlives. Two of them actually are my cousins, and one is actually my mother's son, my brother, who is guilty of attempted murder on me as well, and now involved with the very same people that stalked and murdered my mother because he is a fucking junkie now, too. This is a picture of me at one point in time. I had to actually shave my head because of my skull being seriously deformed to prove that it was happening. And no matter what I was able to show or prove, I was still called a fucking liar by doctors. Full physical fucking identity change done to me 100%. So if anybody thinks it's impossible, I'm going to prove wrong. Just there's that tube that comes up to the back of my head. My spine has also been seriously deformed and damaged too, but that certainly is not normal. Skull deforming. I look nothing like that now. So congratulations, OPP and the rest of you pieces of shit, garbage and both. My skull's a lot shorter and rounder now. This is a pretty bad one. Once again, if anybody thinks that anybody cannot go through physical identity theft and change, I'm proving it can happen. And it has happened to me. Even me being 52 years old, fully fucking finished. This is me with my long hair. I don't know if this is being seen or not because it's being shadow banned a lot of it, but I hope it is, and I hope it's shared. Jason Milstein, guilty of first-degree premeditated attempted murder. Mr. Fentanyl dealer sells lace fentanyl, and he is guilty of a murder in 2021 as well for OPP. Constable Detective Blair Hardy Kane, guilty of killing my mother, guilty of meth trafficking, guilty of identity theft, torture crimes, and attempted murder and murder. Bill Waldridge, now bald, glasses, approximately 70, now lives 149 Center Street North behind Cowell Law Office. Guilty of stalking and killing my mother. He frequents Prince Charles School. He is a child molester. He has many alias names: Bill Waldridge, Bill Coolidge, Bill Delarosa, James Bubbles, Stephen Mavis, and Robert Cross. Guilty of killing, torturing, and killing my dog. Torture crimes on me and attempted murder, Tyler Lacgh. Tony Anthony, he's guilty of attempted murder with intent to commit with and for his boyfriend. He is a child molester. He is a speedhead, and he actually thinks that I am a wolf. My cousin Dale Hartwick, he is guilty of attempted murder with intent to commit for drop charges for a stabbing he committed. He let it slip to me in person that he is involved with OPP. And child groomer Raymond LeBlanc, he's guilty of criminal stalking, torturing, and killing my dog, March 24th, 2023. Guilty of attempted murder on me. Bill Waldridge and Blair Hardy, once again, these two own the OPP cops in Napanee and are untouchable, unarrestable. Kind of funny how this is not being seen when it's being shadow banned and blocked out by all these fucking lowlives who have my computer hacked. Bunch of homosexuals, so the cops cannot fucking get in shit or anybody can find out what is truly happening with these bastards, but I'm doing this anyway. And this is Bert the Hitman Hustler. He's guilty of criminal stalking. He thinks he actually believes he fucking owns me. He is highly obsessed, jealous of the long hair I used to have. He is a meth head, a crack head, a morphine head. He is a sex offender. He just recently molested a 14-year-old child. He raped him, finger raped a 14-year-old. This is the kind of sick pieces of shit that work with him for OPP, committing crimes and murders for him. Child fuckers. This is another picture of the sick bastard. This is another picture, the one known as Bill Waldridge, Bill Coolidge. Many alias names. Okay, I've showed that, but the reason I was showing them as well, so everybody can see and also to know that while I've been going through that, I've been medically blacklisted as well. Compliments of Dr. Tatiana Vukadinovic, so as it stands, herself is guilty of first-degree attempted murder, brain injuring, skull splitting, identity theft, torture crimes, body mutilations with the intent to commit and have it covered up through the file falsifications, through the discriminations, and through the medical blacklisting. full fucking change done to me. I hope you cocksuckers are happy, but one way or another, regardless of how much you numb me, how much you turned me stupid to try to make me forget about this, because eventually it's getting worse. I'm getting nothing but air and piss and shit going through me while I am being seriously fucking injured and deformed, and nothing I can do about it unless I can afford to go to Quebec, Manitoba, or down east. I am also the end of my bloodline, so Ontario provincial police, the ones named, are guilty of first degree premeditated murder against my mother, my two dogs, this to me, and ending the Wood bloodline through OPP for their fucking revenge. There is another guy, Dale Hartwig's husband or uncle. His name is Harry Hartwig. He is approximately 85 years old. He is a child groomer. He is a sex offender. He is guilty of very serious crimes and abuses on me as well as a child in Winnipeg, Manitoba as well. Guilty of being involved with skull splitting me, brain injuring me, and attempted murder as well. And there is a Chris Brandt and his brother who happens to be a cop. It's organized trafficking, organized sex slavery, organized drug trafficking, organized murders, organized identity thefts, framings through putting illegal prisoner tracking on their victims, forgeries, framings, frauds, identity thefts, identity frauds, bank frauds, forgeries, disability pension thefts and frauds, insurance frauds, through the identity theft and the fake deaths. Isn't that fucking right, Blair Hardy and the rest of the OPP? You're collecting big time off a lot of people. I'm Christopher Wood, and I am going to be looking different tomorrow, and I guarantee it. And I am soon going to be dead. Congratulations, motherfuckers. You're lucky I don't have $22,000, and you're lucky OPP cannot touch you because you work with them for them. They themselves need to be arrested and charged, but that can't happen because they're cops. I hope you fucking lowlives are happy with what you done.